Yeah, this is about love. Anybody heard of Carol Gilligan? She is one of those Harvard smarties. In the front it says, compelling, a thrilling new paradigm. It obviously didn't become a new paradigm of love because though we may sorely need one, um, it's not that easy to get a new paradigm of love in place. And she goes all the way back to the myth of Cupid and Psyche to come up with this paradigm of love. And I think the paradigm of love that she comes up with is basically know what you know and feel what you feel. But she's just one person. So there's something kind of annoying about that. But also, well, first of all, she thanks Bessel van der Kolk for his deep friendship, and Bessel van der Kolk has since become, I don't know when this book was published, but he at the moment is Monsieur Trauma, like the king of trauma, the guy who knows about trauma. And he wrote this book called The Body Keeps the Score, that if you travel in trauma circles, which I do, I'm one of the fortunate few, who... I know a lot of people who have been traumatized, and so, well, we all do, and plus we're all traumatized, the whole culture. So Bessel van der Kolk has theories about this, and I think he lives in Cambridge, and he works around Boston, and so I think in Boston, in Cambridge, at like a cocktail party, you'll get like a trauma therapist, psychiatrist, chatting it up with a Harvard comp lit professor, and, a yoga instructor who also, well, forget about the yoga instructor. Let's just stick it with the psychiatrist and the academic. And so that's what you have here mixed, is a therapist who's also a feminist and also an academic. And she uses literary references and also case studies with her own patients who are annoying. Who has ever met a patient in a therapy office in a book that they didn't find annoying? That's my question. I don't like reading about other people's therapy sessions. She interviews also a lot of teenage girls, and she talks about how teenage girls, there's this turning point in adolescence for girls where they know about love and they have thoughts about love and they know what they know and they feel what they feel, and then at some point in adolescence they turn a corner where they no longer know what they know, and they're no longer allowed to know what they know, and they don't feel what they feel, they don't say what they feel, and that the culture loses something in there, that the culture is losing something by not allowing women to fully inhabit themselves as participants in love. So she was dealing with men and women mostly because she was using this Greek myth as the model for this new paradigm. And the Greek myth she was using is Cupid and Psyche. It's amazing how petty and narcissistic and young the gods were, the Greek gods. They all acted like teenagers. So Venus got jealous of Psyche, and so she sent Cupid, who was her son. First she makes out with him, but there's all that weird incest between the gods and their children. Like Zeus is like always raping his daughters, and Venus has this weird incestuous relationship with Cupid, who's her son. So she sends him down with his quiver of bows to make Psyche fall in love with some horrible monster. And instead of doing that, when he sees Psyche and sees how beautiful she is, he falls in love with her himself. So he pricks himself with one of his own arrows. So Cupid the god falls in love with Psyche the mortal. And then he whisks her away she's standing there on the mountain, because that's when you want to be taken by a monster, you go and stand on a cliff. So in case you're wondering, so you go and you stand on a cliff, and the monster will come take you. And so instead, Cupid lifts her up and carries Psyche away on a wind bed, like a zephyr, I guess. And she lays her down in the flowers, and that's sort of a metaphor for her sexual awakening. And then he becomes her lover, and her, they're not married. So he just becomes her lover, but he says, you can't ever look at me, and you can't ever tell anybody that we're doing this, and if you do, it'll be over. But they have a good situation, like sexually, and then she gets pregnant, and when she gets pregnant, she takes a lamp, and she kind of like, I kind of want to see if I'm gonna have a monster, if I'm sleeping with a monster, I need to know now. she had reason to believe he was a monster. But then, of course, she looked at him and he was not a monster. He was a gorgeous guy. But then he left her. See, as soon as she started loving him, he left her. Does any of this sound familiar? This is sort of the old paradigm for love. And then she brings back Oedipus and, the Greeks. A lot of incest in Greek mythology. I don't want to end it there, but I'm running out of time, so...